Epilogue, 26th June, 1965. The bus conductor regarded them coolly. "Where have you been? On the moon?" Ian grinned. "No, but you're getting warm." Barbara prodded him in the arm. "Shush," she said, and then started laughing. Ian laughed with her. After all their time with the doctor, they were home. The conductor, though, was clearly in no mood for a couple of jokers. Ian sat forward again, wiping a tear from his eye. He rummaged in the pocket of his cream trousers and found the envelope of money the doctor had given him. "How much to King's Cross, then?" he asked. "2 6s, said the man. Ian rifled through the envelope of notes and coins. It meant nothing to him. There were 1s and 2s and £20 notes, but all of a kind he didn't recognise. A clipped 20p coin said it had been minted in 1982, while a shilling had a man's face on it where the Queen ought to have been. The profile was not of her son. He held the money out in his cupped hands, and the conductor took what he wanted. Ian thanked him for the paper ticket, and he and Barbara sat back to enjoy the ride. He again thumbed his way through the money he had been given. "You know what this is?" he asked Barbara. She was too busy lazing out of the window. "It's the money from the future. You remember Colonel Andrews?" Barbara turned. "Yes," she said. "I was thinking about him, was thinking about them all." A chill ran through Ian. They had seen the future. They knew what was coming. He took Barbara's hand. Outside, London bustled as it always had, and just as he remembered it. Making their way through the city, sat on a route master. Even the route it took from town, everything was so familiar to him. He had to repeat the words to himself over and over. They really had got back home. At King's Cross, they had to run to catch up with the 214, leaping up onto the step as it pulled away. Once they had taken their seats, the conductor ambled over, and this time Ian knew to ask for 2 6s. Apart from some pennies, they were now out of legitimate currency. They got off the bus at Old Street. A 10-minute walk down Great Eastern Street would lead them back to Shoreditch. They walked down the street, smiling, laughing, and holding hands. Small things had changed. Some shops were different. "There are fewer men wearing ties," said Barbara. "And the skirts are shorter," grinned Ian. "It's different." "The doctor said it would be," said Ian. They stopped at the corner of Holywell Lane, the cut-through to the area where they'd both worked and lived. Barbara seemed hesitant to go on. "What is it?" he asked her. "What if we can't change things?" she said. "What if the machine still takes over?" Ian considered. "Then we'll make the most of what time we do have," he said. "However long that may be." Barbara nodded. Then she leaned forward and kissed him squarely on the mouth. Ian put his arms around her and kissed back. Somewhere down the street, a passer-by wolf whistled. Barbara, still kissing him, laughed. "Come on," she said. "There's somebody waiting for us." She led him down Redchurch Street and then left towards Arnold's Circus. They stopped outside a simple, unremarkable house, and Barbara squeezed his hand. She rang the bell. After a moment, a small, elderly woman opened the door. She peered up at them, and her mouth fell open. Barbara held the woman in her arms tightly. Ian stood back, giving them space. After a long time, the women withdrew, both holding on to each other, both weeping with joy. The old woman regarded Ian, and he could see Barbara's face in her features. "You're the one who took her from me?" she said. Barbara interceded. "He's the one who brought me back," she said, taking Ian's hand again. Her smile was contagious, and even the old woman couldn't resist. Smiling, she took Ian's other hand and shook it. "How do you do?" she said. "Mum," said Barbara. This is Ian. He's brought me home.